You were explaining how the spirit soul is intelligent. And that's why when you hear some transcendental knowledge, you feel like it's ringing a bell.
Yeah.
But we know people who hear all kinds of things which are not really transcendental knowledge, but they're convinced that it's ringing a bell. For example, we used to have one man here who was
well, that bell is cracked. That's like your Liberty Bell in America. That one, Liberty Bell, is cracked.
Right.
If you have a cracked bell, then everything sounds good. But if your bell is purified, if your consciousness is purified, then you can recognize spirit. That's Vigyan. You can see the difference between matter and spirit. This is the point. So just because some people think that's good, doesn't mean to say they're transcendentally situated. Like many greedy, materialistic people think, lying, cheating, cooking the books, like Bernie Madoff from your New York City, defrauded people of billions of dollars. So his friends probably thought, hey, you've got a really good thing going there. But that's material illusion. They're not realizing transcendence. And that's what the aim of human life is. But so we have to get that perception of spiritual knowledge, we have to follow sadhana bhakti as well. You understand? If we have to perform tapas. If we maintain material life, intoxication, meat eating, gambling, time wasting, so on and so forth, then our consciousness will not be pure, and then it won't resonate when we hear spiritual knowledge. There'll be some benefit, but the realization is less. But if devotees follow sadhana bhakti nicely, then the more they study the Shastra, the more they will recognize the validity of it. Because Krishna consciousness is a science, it's a process. It's not just dogma that you believe in, a lifestyle, a blind faith in some prophet. No, it's giving extraordinary knowledge about the transcendental world, but it is giving a process by which one can understand that to be correct. Do you understand the point? So if one follows the process, then one will realize the correctness. If one doesn't follow, and if one maintains an antagonistic mentality, then one will not get the knowledge. Therefore, tadvidi, I think in this, is it tadvidi pratipatena sevaya? You've got to listen and do service, and then by grace of Krishna, you'll realize the truth. But if somebody has material desire, then Super Soul will say, yes, follow that path. That's right, isn't it? All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. So we can reciprocate through illusion, or we can reciprocate through truth. You see? So people in the material world, they fool themselves ultimately. Right? And therefore they become fanatic. Right? Many fanatics. Oh, I believe in this, and that means I don't question it. That's the devil if I question it. It's all very unreasonable, and it's vicious. These people belong to the devil, and these people are pure. And I believe it. So, what? You believe that? Why you believe that? It doesn't seem even peaceful. It doesn't sound reasonable. It is making division. It is making conflict. No, I have to believe it. So they fool themselves. In the material world, people fool themselves. Just like people say, oh, my football team is the best in the world. And they go down with their friends and they say, yes, Scunthorpe United is the best football team. Now somebody may listen to them and say, wait a minute, they're in the 3rd division. Last season they lost 9 out of 10 matches. No, they're the best football team. They're my football team. You don't understand that they're losing those games on purpose. They could just as easily win. So in the material world, people, they build these little worlds, you see, right? In the material world or in false religion or something. But ultimately they're fooling themselves by intent. For Krishna consciousness, if you practice properly, you become transcendently situated and it becomes, you realize Krishna. Right? And as you realize Krishna, you become liberated. That's right. Janma karma tama. If you realize Krishna, you become liberated. That's the goal of spiritual life. Is that okay? Yeah. So, you see, some people may, your point is correct, some people may, I agree with that. But the intelligent person can distinguish between material and spiritual. You understand? Spiritual realization and material illusion. That's the whole point of Buddhiman. You see. Superficially they may see the same. But to the rishi, to the realized bhakta, he sees this is material illusion and this is realization of the absolute truth. And he can distinguish. But the materially conditioned, they may think, like you're putting that argument, oh, those Hare Krishnas, they're just fooling themselves. Right? And they even say like that, right? We've got to save them from spiritual life. Huh?
And they have the answers.
Sorry?
And they have all the answers.
Yeah,
They have all the answers.
so that is the covering prasadmika and avaranatmika buddhi. A function of Maya. Prasadmika means people have a false idea, but avaranatmika buddhi means they think it's correct. You see? That's why, especially in Kali Yuga, it's best not to argue too much with people. Prabhupada would always just encourage them, you know, yes, do that, but chant Hare Krishna, chant the name of God in your religion, right? Because philosophy is for those that are a little purified. 3 levels described. First is Harinam and Prasadam for general distribution. Then those that are a little purified, they can understand philosophy a bit. And then once tattva, philosophy, then they can understand Leela. That stage of Bhava Bhakti, Prem Bhakti. Before that they can study Leela, but they should understand that my conception of Leela is, it's incomplete, but still I should study the Leela. But when we become Bhava Prem Bhakta, then we actually enter the spiritual realm. So, these things are in the Shastra. We should understand everything perfectly. and follow Mahadhyayana Kathaspada. It's not that difficult to understand. It's all there. Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada is everything clear. But material people, they will, like Vitaraga Vaya Krodha, they'll always think, oh, I don't, these Hare Krishnas, they're making me think of spiritual life. I'll lose something if I chant Hare Krishna. Look at them, they all shave their head. That's terrible. It's fearful. My hair is beautiful. Krodha. Oh, why are they worshipping Krishna? Why not me? Right? So people in the material world are like that. So Lord Chaitanya, give prasad, give Harinam. Just like our temple. We have Harinam, we have big prasadam hall, we have books. So actually, we want 1 million temples like this, with a great kirtan mandap, 24 hours, a huge prasadam hall, where everyone can have free prasadam, huge kitchen, right? And then books, spiritual knowledge, and then there should be question and answer booths so people can put questions. And if that is there, then the whole of human society can be transformed. Everyone should know, what's the problem for food? I go to the Hare Krishna temple and they feed me. And they feed me so much I sit in the kirtan. And I chant a little. Then I go home. Right? That's what the temple should be. Right? Actually, every day we should have about 100 kilos of rice cooked, and hundreds of kilos of sabji and milk. And everyone, the government should be giving us support and printing the spiritual knowledge. And everyone knows, oh, the Hare Krishnas, it's the kitchen religion, Prabhupada says. You go to the temple, you hear the kirtan, you fill your belly, and you buy a book. And you study the book at home and turn off the television. Right? We don't have to make a big plan, that's it. That's what the acharyas have given, Mahadhyayana Kathaspada, that's what Prabhupada gave, right? That's how we became devotees. Prabhupada went chanting, Tompkins Square Park, with a tom-tom. People started to chant. They came back to his place, he gave them prasad. Then they started to do little service here and there. And then they started to read Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada didn't even have books printed, the Gita, Nectar of Devotion. Then they started to print it. Right? So our plan is very open. Kirtan, prasadam, books. And now India, right? India is the big economic giant, right? That's what they should be doing. Clean environment, spiritual knowledge, transcendental foodstuffs. Then India will become glorious and spread the Vedic culture throughout the world. That's the duty. Bharate Bhumite. Manusha Janma. That is Prabhupada's plan. But India, why they want to become like America? In America you can't walk the streets at night without a bulletproof vest. People are being taxed to death. The people are going so mad, children are shooting guns off in the school. It's like a madhouse. Everyone is taking psychiatric drugs. And going bananas because of that. I'm sorry, you're not American, are you? You've been here in Vrindavan so much, you're starting to look like a gopi.
Before Before I became an educated bum on the road, I was substitute teaching. This would have been in the very early 70s. And I remember during recess, the kids would go out, and sometimes somebody would throw a knife in from outside into the classroom.
My God.
I mean, this was...
You mean a butter knife?
This was, no, not a butter knife. Something that would stick into the wooden desk.
Well, in England it was an apple for the teacher. We didn't have it. Anyway. So the thing is, right, everyone thinks, oh, America's like the movies. But the movies are becoming, right, terrible, isn't it? They're all the X-Men or something like this. Right, it's all kind of mad. So India won't actually, because the people in India, they understand Krishna consciousness. But once they give up Mayavadi ideas and demigod worship, and they take to Krishna bhakti, that's when India will wake up. Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita Sadhu Sangha Ki.